Well, welcome everybody. My name is Stan Beaker. I am the chairman of the St. Louis Park High School Athletic Hall of Fame. On behalf of the Hall of Fame Athletic Committee, I'd like to issue you a warm welcome. We're delighted you're here. You think about this, we've been waiting 4 years for this event. We scheduled this for 2020. Every 3 years, our last banquet was in this room in 2017. The next banquet was supposed to be September of 2020, and we all know what happened then. So we bumped it out a couple of times, but the net of it is we're here today to celebrate the finest athletes, coaches, managers, teams, and others who have contributed not only to St. Louis Park High School, but to our community. So thank you for being here. At this time, I'd like the entire Hall of Fame committee, Neil, don't walk away. I'd like the Hall of Fame committee, the current Hall of Fame committee, to stand up and get a round of applause. They've been working for 3 years. Thank you. It's been a labor of love, I think, for all of us that worked on the committee. Speaking of Hall of Fame committees, I want to take the opportunity to introduce 4 people who were on the original Hall of Fame committee. You know, this thing just didn't happen by itself. There was a group of people, including, we're going to hear from a couple of them later on this morning, that had an idea to start something called Athletic Hall of Fame for St. Louis Park High School. And that was back in, I think, the 2003, 2004 time period, if I recall. And we have 4 of those members that original Hall of Fame committee are still here, and they are here today. And I'd like them to stand up. DeWald, Linda Gust. Linda, where is she? Phil Firk and Don Schimmel. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd also like to introduce the superintendent of St. Louis Park St. Louis Park School System, Aston Osai. Aston, please stand up. Aston and I see each other every morning at 5 a.m. at the St. Louis Park Lifetime Fitness. We are literally there at the same time, 5 a.m. So he is getting going early to get to the district office. I'd also like to introduce a very special person that's been a friend of St. Louis Park and the community for a very long time. He's been our master of ceremonies for all of our ceremonies that started back in 2005. And he's a great friend. He's been inducted into the Hall of Fame as a Lifetime Achievement Award winner. I'd like them both to stand up, Mary Ann and Jeff Passelt. If you heard some beautiful music out in the foyer area, it was because of a young lady by the name of Mary Anderson. Her daughter is on our Hall of Fame, Jill Anderson here. But Mary blessed us with her beautiful music, and I'd like her to stand up and receive an applause. Thank you, Mary, for being here. Beautiful music, enjoyed by all. Thank you. And a friend of mine that I graduated with from St. Louis Park High School is our official photographer, Andy Steinfeld. Andy, stand up. Finally, I'd like a big applause for our sponsors and our donors. Without our sponsors and the donors, frankly, this event wouldn't have happened. So let's give a round of applause to our sponsors and our donors. And by the way, they're in your program. If you look in your program, you can see who they were, and we thank them very much for their participation financially. With that, I thought the best way to introduce our inductees is to have them parade around this. Yes, they are. To the St. Louis Park Rouser. Do you all remember that song? All right.
They changed the lyrics. I don't know if anyone knows this, but I put them up here. It was very, very upsetting for a 1990 grad. So if these are your lyrics, close your heart. These are not mine. Sing what makes you feel like you're singing your single.
All right. Everybody has to sing very loud.
Oh, come on.
Come on, let's go. you can sit back at your respective seats. The last person I'd like to introduce before I leave the stage is the athletic director at St. Louis Park High School, Andy Ewald. Andy?
Welcome, everybody. You'll have to forgive me if I ramble. I was putting this together last night late, and I'm working on about 4 hours of sleep, and I'll explain kind of why. Zach Strouts, one of the Hall of Fame committee members, wanted me to let everybody know to check inside your seat that there's gift cards stashed in some of the seat backs. So at some point, check your seat back to see if you've gotten a gift card. Did I do that right, Zach? It's all about gift cards. All right, we'll move on. And again, I apologize for if I ramble. I apologize for not being clean shaven. I was in Iowa and left this morning at 5, and I'm here now. Again, I'm Andy Ewald. I've proudly been the athletic director here. This is my 22nd year, and I've loved every minute of it. Before I get started, though, I'd like to have us take a moment of silence. In the last year, we've lost 3 either former coaches or coaches that have been part of our family. Less than a year ago, Braden Weiss, one of our football coaches, died suddenly from a heart attack. A couple weeks ago, former softball coach Bobby Crumpton passed away from a pretty serious illness. And then just a few weeks ago, John Dicey, one of our Nordic ski coaches, was killed tragically in an accident while he was biking. So if we could just take a quick moment of silence for the 3 of them, please. Thank you. All right, so I was in Iowa last night for my son's college football game. That's why I was scrambling to get back here. And I was only able to see him for a little bit last night after the game because it got done late. And I needed to get some sleep or try to get some sleep. And I wasn't able to see him this morning because I left at 5 to get back here. So I didn't have a lot of time to spend with him, and today's his 20th birthday. And that's okay, and I'll kind of explain why. So I share this because how I do what I do professionally is very, very personal to me. And having the opportunity to be with you this morning and early afternoon is important to me. This is because this is the most important Hall of Fame class, I believe, and I've been here from the first one on. This is the most important Hall of Fame class we've had thus far. The most important belief I have about what I do overseeing our programs is to provide athletic opportunities and participation to all our students. And not only opportunities, but a sense of ownership and belonging in our programs. And that's not just for our students that look like me. It's for our female students, and it's for our Black, Brown, and Indigenous students. So for me, and I consider myself a feminist, and I consider myself an anti-racist, when I see a female head coach who's already in the High School League Hall of Fame, Linda, being inducted into this Hall of Fame, when I see a team of female athletes, not from what a lot of people would consider the popular sport, but the most successful and dominating program in St. Louis Park High School history being inducted today. And when I see that the total number of Hall of Fame members that are people of color are being doubled today, Yasmine, Fletch, and Jonathan, who's not here with us today. Personally, being here is more important than my son's birthday. With that, though, I don't see today as an accomplishment, just a beginning. We have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. My hope is that when these plaques go up, that the students in the school who look like me, are white male students, see not only the accomplishments of the inductees of color and our inductees that are female, but it makes them look around in the hallways, on their teams, in their classes, and see the greatness of their female and black, brown, and indigenous students that are their peers, that they're with every single day. And that our female students and our students of color believe that their brilliance, not just as an athlete, but as a human being, is seen and celebrated, and that they can accomplish anything in life, even having their plaque up in the B1 hallway. That's all I have for you. Enjoy the day, enjoy the banquet, and go Park.
It is my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies. He's been with us from day one. I told you earlier, he's been inducted into the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame. He really doesn't need an introduction because I think everybody in this room in the state of Minnesota knows him. He was with KMSP Channel 9 for 23 years, and he's retired, and I'm told he's really, really enjoying his retirement, he and Marianne. So with that, a person who's really been helpful to the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame all these years. He's been gracious enough to join us again this year. Let's give a warm welcome to Jeff Pascal.
Stan warned me that he was going to tease me about a date with infamy for me. It was a St. Cloud State hockey game at Bemidji State, and about 19 seconds into the first period, I got checked from behind, and my face mask smashed my nose, and so my nose was all bloody, and I turned around, I poked the wrong guy, and pretty soon I've got two guys after me, and it turns into a wild mess. At the end of the whole episode, I ended up with 34 penalty minutes, and to this day, it's an NCAA record for one game. So, you know, the real shame of it is that I was 2 points away from being the leading scorer all time at that time, St. Cloud State, with 10 games to go. I got suspended for 2 games, then the coach let me ride the bench a little bit after that. Suffice to say, I never broke the scoring record. So lesson learned there. I should have learned that back in high school. But then again, when I was playing high school hockey at St. Louis Park, we struggled. And from time to time, it was a little embarrassing. I mean, I can remember one time, we were playing a game at the Park Arena, and the PA announcer said, "Would the mother of the lost 6 kids please claim them? They're beating the Orioles 5-0 right now." So, glad everybody is here today. We're enjoying a day of camaraderie, seeing new faces, meeting and renewing friendships with old. And we all have one thing in common, and that's our connection to St. Louis Park High School. See a lot of former teachers here and coaches, athletes that have been impressive throughout the years and really have helped all of us form our lives. And, you know, the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame Committee wants to just say that we were supposed to have a banquet in 2020, but of course, you know what happened with the circumstances, so it's been a struggle. And finally, we're able to get back out here. So also a thank you to ParkTV for making this possible. We hope you enjoy the induction ceremony. You'll forgive me if I'm a little nervous up here. I haven't been on camera for 2.5 years. So before we begin the inductions, the Hall of Fame Committee would like Stan Beaker to just stand up, because Stan is a mover and a shaker in this thing. He served in the committee since 2009, and he's been the chairman of the committee for the past 4 banquets, and he's retiring from the committee after this banquet, but you're going to have some big shoes to fill. We thank you so much, Stan. He's in the process of moving to Chicago to be closer to his family and grandchildren. We can't blame him for that. And we want to wish him all the best and hope he comes back to attend future Hall of Fame banquets so we can check in on you. He's lived the past 48 years in Edina, and we hope he always considers himself a proud St. Louis Park Oriole. And the committee would like to give him a small token for our appreciation. So good luck there, Stan. And
So my thanks to the committee members and the inductees for this, whatever it is in here. I am going to miss this. It's been a labor of love, like many of you. Just to give something back to the community is something special we should all do, and I've been privileged to do that with the Hall of Fame. So my thanks to everybody in this room and for this nice gift again, whatever it is.
all right, we're going to begin our induction ceremony now. And first, we'd like to introduce our Lifetime Achievement Award recipients. Jeff Diamond is a 1971 graduate from Park. He participated in soccer and tennis and was the sports editor for the Echo newspaper, the school newspaper, along with his friends Tom Friedman, who you may know well of with the New York Times, Pulitzer winner, and Mark Rosen. Of course, Rosie's in our thoughts after losing his wife here recently. Jeff went on to become a very successful NFL executive with the Minnesota Vikings and the Tennessee Titans. For his contributions to St. Louis Park High School and his accomplishments after he graduated, the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame would like to present Jeff with the Lifetime Achievement Award. And here's what he says on his plaque. The St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame Committee wants to present Jeff Diamond with this in appreciation and recognition for his athletic accomplishments at St. Louis Park High School and his career accomplishments with the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL. Jeff was an outstanding soccer and tennis player in high school. He led the soccer team in scoring his senior year and set a team record for goals in a season while playing for Augie's Doggies under Augie Schmidt. He was the captain of the tennis team in '71. He graduated from the University of Minnesota in '75 and began working for the Vikings in 1976. He rose to the position of vice president and general manager and was selected the NFL Executive of the Year in 1998 after the Vikings went 15-1. In 1999, Jeff became the president, chief operating officer for the Tennessee Titans until 2004. During his 10 years, he went to the Super Bowl in 1976 with the Vikings and in 1999 with the Titans. The teams won 9 division titles and played in 6 NFC or AFC championships games. Since 2004, Jeff has worked for the NFL, actually as an NFL agent for IFA, and contributed to a Talk North podcast and written NFL-related columns for Sporting News. He also does college and corporate speaking engagements. Jeff is also the first rum-dum to be inducted into the St. Louis Park Hall of Fame. Rum Dum is a group of guys that took great pride and ended up at the University of Minnesota playing intercollegiate athletics, playing intramural athletics. Anyway, Jeff Diamond has many, many accomplishments, and the St. Louis Park Hall of Fame congratulates him. He's currently living in Invergrove Heights with his wife, Diane, a St. Louis Park grad. And they have 2 children, Brett, who also works for the Vikings, and his wife, Catherine, have 3 daughters, Sierra, Layla, and Amelia. And his daughter, Brooke, is married to Jonathan, and they have 1 son, Asher. So congratulations to Jeff Diamond for his Lifetime Achievement Award. This next recipient is a guy that we looked up to in our neighborhood like you wouldn't believe. Dan McEachran was a 1973 graduate from St. Louis Park who participated in football, wrestling, and baseball. He was also a teacher and coach in the St. Louis Park School District for 36 years. The Hall of Fame Committee would like to recognize Dan for his accomplishments as an athlete and his contributions as a teacher and coach by presenting him a Lifetime Achievement Award. And here's what it says on his plaque. The St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame Committee would like to present Dan McEachran with the Lifetime Achievement Award in appreciation and recognition for his athletic, teaching, and coaching accomplishments at St. Louis Park and his contributions to the St. Louis Park community. Dan lettered in football, wrestling, and baseball at St. Louis Park High School. He also played all 3 sports at Golden Valley Lutheran College and played baseball for 2 years at the University of Minnesota. Dan taught physical education and health and coached in St. Louis Park from 1980 to 2016. Among the sports he coached were junior high track, varsity football, junior high basketball, Special Olympics, and he was the head of the assistant baseball coach for 26 years. He coached athletes in Special Olympics for 26 years and participated in 2 international games in Baton Rouge and Minneapolis. He's preceded in being recognized by the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame by his father-in-law, Fran Bradley, and his son, Aaron McEachran. His greatest pleasure in coaching was in working with the athletes in practice and watching them improve during the season and their high school careers. So the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame congratulates and thanks Danny McEachran, is how we knew him back in the day, for all his contributions to St. Louis Park schools. And we want to say congratulations. You inspired a lot of us back there in that old neighborhood by Lenox School, I'll tell you. Yeah. I think it was the Mustangs, you guys, the kids' baseball team, played with my brothers. All right. Next up, Lifetime Achievement Award. The Hall of Fame Committee would like to recognize one of its own today, Don Schimmel, a 1951 graduate from Park. He's been on the Hall of Fame Committee since its beginning in 2003, and he's been our connection to the past athletes of St. Louis Park and has consistently supported and promoted their selection to the Hall of Fame. He's also been a member of the St. Louis Park Historical Society. And here's what it says on his plaque. The St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame Committee would like to present Don Schimmel with the Lifetime Achievement Award in appreciation and recognition for his athletic accomplishments at St. Louis Park High School, his contributions to the Hall of Fame Committee, and to the St. Louis Park community. Don graduated from Park in 1951 and participated in basketball and track and field. In 1951, Don placed second in the 880-yard run in the Minnesota State track and field meet. After serving in the military, Don ran track for the University of Minnesota. He was an original member of the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame Committee that was started in 2003. His contributions to the committee have been numerous, as he has been the link to many of the great St. Louis Park athletes and teams. And Don has also been a member of the St. Louis Park Historical Society for many years. The St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame would like to thank Don Schimmel for all of his contributions and accomplishments throughout his years of service to the St. Louis Park High School and to the community. Don's married to Barbara, and they've been married 57 years. They have two children. Yeah, it always flies by, doesn't it? They have 2 children, Tom and Mary, 6 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. And so we say congratulations to Don Schimmel for the Lifetime Achievement. Don? Thank you. All right. There you go. And now we're going to induct our class of 2021 athletes and coaches. The first inductee is Brad Brubaker. Brad Brubaker started teaching at St. Louis Park in 1987 and taught social studies at the junior high and high school for 33 years. He's been an assistant and head coach in girls soccer, girls track and field for most of those 33 years. He was the head coach of the girls track and field team for 17 years. In 1997, St. Louis Park was the girls Minnesota AA True Team Track and Field State Champion. And in 1998, they were the Minnesota State High School League AA State Champions. Brad feels one of the best accomplishments of his coaching career was the 4th place finish in the 1998 State AAA True Team meet. True Team Track meets required depth in all events, and as one of the smallest teams in AAA, a 4th place finish against the bigger schools in the state was a great accomplishment. The track and field team was also the runner-up at the 1997 Minnesota State meet. He was named Coach of the Year in 1997 by the Minnesota AA Track and Field Coaches Association, and he was also named Minnesota AA True Team Girls Track and Field Coach of the Year. It's especially rewarding for Brad to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year with 3 of his athletes from those teams: Tanna-Marie Simmons, Lindsay Dewald, and Yasmine Malone. Brad has always felt the most rewarding part of coaching was building relationships with his athletes rather than winning championships. Brad would like to recognize and thank the coaches who helped him in building the girls' track program. Tom Morgan gave Brad his start in coaching track. Jeff Gullard was the boys' head coach during much of Brad's tenure as the girls' coach and appreciates all of the time they spent together at meets and practices. Amy Piper Bertram was the weights coach during those championship years, and he admired how much fun she brought to the program. He'd also like to thank Amy Martinson-Stender, Irv Smith, Rich Keith, and Christine Twerdick for all of their contributions. Brad was a coach in the girls' soccer program from 1993 to 2020 with 1 year as head coach. He was named to the 2014 Minnesota State Soccer Coaches Association AA Assistant Coach of the Year and the 2016 Section 6 AA Girls Soccer Assistant Coach of the Year. In 1998, Brad was the assistant coach when Park won the Section 5 tournament and finished 2nd in state. Park won the West Metro Conference Championship in 2016. Brad also had the pleasure of coaching his daughters, Lydia and Rebecca, during their playing careers at Park. And he'd like to thank Benji Kent for all the years of coaching soccer at Park and for being such a great head coach and role model for his daughters. Brad started in the program as an assistant coach for Ira Gurwitz, and he wants to thank Ira for helping to teach him the game. And Brad would also like to thank former athletic director Lefty Wright for first hiring him to coach at St. Louis Park. He would also like to thank current athletic director Andy Ewald for all of his support and trust over the years. He also said there was no one more supportive over the years than Sean Matthews in her roles in the athletic department. Sean was always there to listen and help, and Brad says he would share his soda with her at any time. Brad would also like to thank all the athletes he's coached over the years. There are too many to recognize individually, but he said the athletes motivated him to do his best so they could be their best. Brad wants to thank his parents for being such good role models and never letting anything come before family, faith, and friends. Brad and his wife Teresa have 3 children, Nathan 28, Lydia 27, and Rebecca 24. He and Teresa have been married for over 35 years, and he apologizes that most of their anniversaries fell on the same date as the state track meet. Cheap date. Teresa homeschooled their kids until 9th grade and has spent years as the soccer track team's photographer. And even though the Brubakers live in Eden Prairie, they've always bled orange and black. Congratulations to Brad Brubaker for his induction at the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you. Andy Cheesebro, class of 2004 rather. Unfortunately, Andy not present today because he's taking part in a 150-mile race in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Yeah, running race, not biking. According to his coaches, Andy was always a little crazy. So accepting on Andy's behalf is Zach Strauss. The three-sport athletes becoming a rare commodity in high school athletics in this time of specialization. It's also unusual for an athlete to excel in three sports. Usually an athlete will excel in one sport, be pretty good in the others. Today, many of our individual inductees have participated and excelled in three sports during their St. Louis Park athletic careers, and Andy Cheesebro is one of those three-sport athletes. Andy earned 11 letters during his athletic career at Park in cross-country, Nordic skiing, and track and field, and participated in 5 state meets. In Nordic skiing as a junior, Andy was a member of the 2003 Minnesota Nordic Ski State Championship team. In 2004, the Nordic ski team finished in 2nd place at the state meet in his senior year. At the 2004 state meet, Andy finished 2nd in Classic, and 2003 he finished 5th in Pursuit at state. Cross-country skiers will know what that means, some of the inside terminology. Andy was a Section 5 champion 3 times and a conference champion 2 times. He was named All-Conference 4 years and was elected captain for the 2003-2004 season. Andy competed in junior nationals in Nordic skiing and was named All-American his junior and senior years. His Nordic ski coach, Doug Peterson, says that Andy was totally team-oriented and pushed himself and others to excel. In track and field, Andy earned 4 letters. In 2004, he won the Section 5 1600-meter run and was a state meet participant. Coach Jeff Gullard remembers that in section finals in the 1600-meter run, he had a park runner act as a rabbit to go out fast and tire out 2 Fridley runners. The strategy wound up working as Andy passed the Fridley runners on the final lap of the race to win the race and qualify for state. He was named All-Conference and was elected captain his senior year. He earned 3 letters in cross-country. In 2003, he was a state meet participant and was elected captain of the team his senior year. And Coach Gullard also remembers that Andy was responsible for the dead worm workout. I guess his teammates are the ones who know what that means. Down the line, we'll have to ask Andy. Andy would like to thank his parents for all their time and energy in supporting all his athletic endeavors. Andy especially enjoyed being able to participate in all his sports with his siblings, Will, Tim, and Katie. He said every race was like a big family event with his parents and relatives attending all the races and being able to compete with his brothers and sister. Andy would also like to thank his coaches, Coach Doug Peterson and Jeff Gullard, for taking him from an immature freshman trying to make varsity and turning him into an immature senior trying to win state championships. He said his coaches allowed him to be himself and have fun while giving him the skills and the desire to succeed. Andy currently lives in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and is a sales manager for Honey Stinger, a sports nutrition company. He still skis and runs and competes in ultramarathons, as we said right at the beginning, so congratulations to Andy. You heard someone mention earlier that perhaps the most successful program in St. Louis Park High School history is synchronized swimming. They've been near or at the top of the state, going back to before when I was in high school. And the St. Louis Park Synchronized swimming team really been dominant, starting out under Coach Sally Callahan, and that tradition has continued under Coach Linda Gust. Linda has been girls swimming and synchronized swimming coach in St. Louis Park since 1974. Linda's always believed that coaching is more than just a win-loss record. She believes that coaching is more about teaching, providing opportunities to develop life skills, and that's always been an integral part of her philosophy and her practices. She takes great pride in the fact that so many of her former swimmers have come back to St. Louis Park to coach, or have gone on to coach in other programs across the state, or become officials and judges in the sport. Prior to coaching at St. Louis Park, Linda coached girls swimming and synchronized swimming at Prior Lake High School, Bloomington Kennedy High School, in the Osseo School District, and Minnetonka. Linda began coaching in St. Louis Park as the head junior high synchronized swimming coach in 1974. And she was the head varsity swimming coach from 79 to 1981. But it was her involvement in the varsity synchronized swimming team where Linda has had her greatest success. She was the assistant varsity synchro coach from 94 to 96 under head coach Karen Hirschberger. She became the head varsity synchro coach in 1997 and is still the head coach for the team to this day. During her time as head coach, the synchronized swim team has won the Minnesota State Championship 4 times. She's also being honored here tonight. That team is too. Her teams won 25 consecutive Central Section Championships from 1995 to 2019. And the synchronized swim team was conference champion or co-champions for 14 years during her coaching years. Linda's been recognized by her peers at the state for her accomplishments and her career. She was inducted into the Minnesota High School Coaches Association Hall of Fame in 2017 and named Synchronized Swimming Coach of the Year in 2017 by the Minnesota Coaches Association. Linda was also inducted into the Minnesota High School Synchronized Coaches Association Hall of Fame in 2016. She was the president of the Minnesota Synchronized Swimming Coaches Association for 8 years. Linda would like to thank Sally Callahan, who started the Surf Bells and the synchronized swimming program. Sally had a profound influence on a countless number of athletes. Linda's very proud to be one of only 3 synchronized swim coaches in the program's long history. Over the past 24 years, Linda has worked with several assistant coaches, but she'd especially like to thank 5 of the coaches for their contributions and longevity. Jessica Gust has coached with her mom for 22 years. Angie Flatguard Swenson has coached for 13 years. Jennifer Woods for 8 years. Rose Evenson for 7 years. And Carolyn Goodall for 6 years. Lynn is extremely proud of her daughter Jessica for all her contributions as the synchro coach, the strength and conditioning coach, and as a high school science teacher at St. Louis Park. She'd also like to thank her husband, Eric Nielsen, for his understanding, patience, and support over the past 28 years. Not easy to be the spouse of a synchronized swim coach, she says. Lynn is currently a reading instructor at North Hennepin Community College and the Minneapolis Community College. And we say congratulations to Linda Gust for her induction into the St. Louis Park High School Hall of Fame. Becky Heltzer is our next award winner, but due to the concerns about COVID, Rebecca's unable to attend today's banquet. So accepting the award on her behalf is her soccer and basketball coach, DeWall. The Hall of Fame committee would like to extend its condolences to Deb on the recent death of his wife, Naomi. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Naomi was a constant presence at all of the games that Deb coached. And if there were a St. Louis Park Hall of Fame coaches' wives section, Naomi would be the first inductee. Well, if there was a tough job to do in a sport, Rebecca Heltzer was the athlete to do it. Becky was a three-sport competitor for St. Louis Park, lettering 11 times in soccer, basketball, and softball. Becky earned 4 letters in soccer as the goalie for the team. She was the last line of defense, and Coach Wold described her as fearless in her pursuit of stopping the opposing team from scoring. She was the starting goalie for 4 years, all conference. She was named in 1979 and 1980. She was elected captain of the 1980 team and voted the most valuable player for defense and the most dedicated athlete on the team. And when she graduated, she was the career leader for Park in shutouts with 17 and in saves with 671. And she had the best goals against average for one season. That was a .460. In basketball, Becky wasn't the tallest player on the team, or maybe even the best player on the team, but she always was the toughest player on the team. She usually ended up guarding the other team's best player. When Park played New York Mills, ranked the best team in the state, Becky guarded Janet Carvinen. Well, Janet was one heck of a player back then, if you remember, and really considered best player in the state. Coach Wold said that Becky never backed down and would fight for every rebound, usually against taller players. Coach Wold said Rebecca led by example, was a total team player and an absolute pleasure to coach. Becky earned 3 letters in basketball and was all conference for the 1981 season. She was voted by her teammates as the most valuable player and defensive most valuable player in her senior year. She led the team in free throw percentage for 3 years. So what's the toughest and dirtiest position in softball? Well, that's right. Becky was the catcher for the Park softball team and earned 4 letters doing that. One of her memories from softball was the strange peach-colored jerseys the team wore. She also remembers a fairly large player from Edina barreling toward home plate. There was a tremendous collision at the plate, but Rebecca held on to the ball for the out. Rebecca went on to play softball at Colorado State. And Rebecca would especially like to thank DeWall for his dedication and spirit in all St. Louis Park athletics. Deb coached her in soccer and basketball, and Rebecca said he always knew the right thing to say and provided positive encouragement. Rebecca currently lives in St. Paul with a partner of 26 years, Candace Palaha. She's an attorney with her own law firm, Heltzer Law Service, located in St. Paul. The committee congratulates Rebecca Heltzer on her induction into the St. Louis Park Hall of Fame. Well, unfortunately, due to conflicts, Lindsay Dewald Hogan will not be able to attend today's ceremony, so we hope she's watching the live stream. Accepting the plaque on her behalf will be Deb Cordner, her teammate in track and a previous inductee into the Park Hall of Fame. Lindsay is the 3rd and youngest of the DeWall sisters to be inducted into the St. Louis Park Hall of Fame. As a 7th grader, she was on a relay team at the state swimming meet with her older sister, Allison. As an 8th grader, she played varsity soccer with another sister, Amber. Lindsay is one of the most accomplished athletes, male or female, to ever be inducted into the St. Louis Park Hall of Fame. It was difficult to fit all of her accomplishments on her plaque. She was so outstanding in 3 sports that, she really excelled in soccer, basketball, and track and field. She also could have excelled in swimming if she decided to stay with that sport, but you know what they say, a girl has to make choices. In track and field, Lindsay was a 5-year letter winner. She qualified for the state meet 5 years in a row, starting as an 8th grader in the 800-meter run. She was a 10-time state meet medalist, with her best finish being a 4th place in the 1600-meter run in 1996, and a 2nd place finish in the 4x800 meter relay in 1998. That relay team, including Tanna-Marie Simmons, Maggie Tillman, and Katie Storley, still holds the school record. When Lindsay ran in the state meet as an 8th grader, she was the only representative from St. Louis Park's girls team. Coach Brad Brubaker said that Lindsay was the one who inspired him to build up the track program. She was also lonely, being the only Park girl to qualify for the state meet, and she wanted some company out there. Lindsay finished her track career by being a member of the 1998 Class AA state championship team and the 1997 True Team state champion. She said she was thrilled to be surrounded by so many great athletes and teammates when they won state. Lindsay was named All-State 4 years and All-Conference 5 years. Lindsay was also a 5-year letter winner in soccer. As an 8th grader, Lindsay joined her sister Amber on the soccer team. Amber was the senior captain, but didn't mind having her little sister on the team as well. Lindsay said it was the only time they were able to play on the same team. Lindsay was named All-State in 1997 and was named All-Conference in 1996 and 97. She sets a season record for most penalty kicks scored in one season. Coach Brubaker said that it was great fun coaching Lindsay in both soccer and track. In basketball, Lindsay was a 4-year letter winner and team captain her junior and senior years. She led the team in steals and assists in the 1997-98 season. Lindsay would like to thank her parents, Jim and Carrie, for instilling in her a love for sports, competition, and teamwork. She also wants to thank them for their support from endless carpools to events and for coaching some of her youth teams. Her parents are her role models as she and her husband raised their daughters to be active and confident young women. Having watched all 3 of their daughters get inducted into the Hall of Fame, the St. Louis Park coaches just wish that Jim and Carrie would have had a few more kids. Maybe even throw in a boy or 2 along the way. Lindsay would also like to thank soccer and track accomplishments for all of the support she got from Brad Brubaker for helping her out there. She says that Coach Brew was a constant, positive, enthusiastic, and invested coach who helped her and countless others throughout his coaching career. After high school, Lindsay played 4 years of soccer at Northwestern University. Lindsay currently living in Denver with her husband Tom and their 3 daughters. Summer is 8, Sienna 6, and Sylvie 3. I guess the daughters thing carries on in the family. Her parents were such great role models that she decided might as well follow their lead and have the 3 girls. Let's see. Lindsay spent several years working for the U.S. Olympic Committee. She's attended and worked at 7 Olympic and Paralympic Games. She's currently the Director of Communications and Marketing for Vail Resorts. Her husband Tom is the head women's volleyball coach at the University of Denver. Her daughters play soccer, tennis, gymnastics, and participate on the local swim team. They also love to ski. It's a good thing when you're in Denver. And now she knows what it's like to be a sports mom. We say congratulations to Lindsay Dewald Hogan for her outstanding career at St. Louis Park High School and her induction into the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame. Please tell her congrats. St. Louis Park has a long history of great track and field teams and great athletes, as we've been saying. Yasmine Malone is one of the best athletes ever to run and jump for the Orioles and was a member of some of the greatest teams in Park history. Too often, people simply refer to the sport as track. But Yasmine puts the word field in track and field. In most meets, Yasmine competed in 4 events: a long jump, triple jump, high jump, and 100-meter hurdles. During the course of a meet, she was running from one event to another. Yasmine was usually the first one to start competing in a meet and the last one to finish. So it must have been nice for Coach Brubaker, knowing he was going to score well in 4 events before the meet even started. Yasmine earned 4 letters in track and field at Park. She was the 1998 state champion in the high jump, clearing the bar at 5 feet 6.5 inches, and the runner-up in 1997. In 1998, she qualified for the state meet in all 4 of her events. She was a valuable member of the 97 True Team state champion and the 1998 Minnesota Track and Field state champion. Over the course of her career, she qualified for the state meet in 8 individual events. In her senior year, Yasmine qualified for the state in the 100-meter hurdles and the long jump. During her warm-ups for the long jump, Yasmine tore her ACL during her run-through, and so she wasn't able to compete in that meet. Well, since that injury, Coach Brubaker always made sure the long jump pit was raked after every run-through. She is the current school record holder in the high jump at 5 feet 6.5 inches, and the long jump at 17 feet 8.5 inches. Yasmine was named All-Conference 4 years in a row. At the 1998 U.S. Track and Field National Meet, Yasmine finished 4th in the high jump, 9th in the triple jump, and 11th in the long jump. After high school, Yasmine competed 4 years for the University of Nebraska, Omaha, and for Albany State. Coach Brubaker also encouraged Yasmine to come out for soccer and play goalie. You know, he thought if she could jump all over the place and make saves, she'd be the right fit. Yasmine led her 2 years in soccer. Coach Brew remembers a true team section track meet in the cold and rainy conditions at St. Thomas Academy. Yasmine had scratched in all her long jump attempts and had 1 jump remaining. If she didn't get it the right way and be in, she wouldn't score any points in the event, and Park wouldn't qualify for the true team state meet. Her jump, Coach Brew told her to shorten her steps just to get a good jump in. Even though Yasmine took off for her jump at least a foot behind the board, her jump was good enough to win the event and put Park in the state meet. Coach Brubaker said that Yasmine was a fun athlete to coach because of her enthusiasm and excitement for the team. She was always the one leading the singing and the victory laps after a meet. Even though she competed in 4 events every meet, Yasmine still wanted to do more. She even asked Coach Brubaker if she could try the shot put. Yasmine stood out as a high jumper because of her short stature. Most elite high jumpers are tall and lean, and Yasmine was short and powerful. People were amazed to watch this small girl jump so high. When she won the state meet in the high jump and stood at the top of the podium, the second place girl was still taller than Yasmine was. Yasmine displayed that same enthusiasm when she came back to coach at Park for 1 year. Yasmine would like to thank her family for all of their support and encouragement during her athletic career. Her favorite memories of high school sports are the lifelong friends she made along the way. She met Deb Cordner on the after-school bus and immediately began to invite herself over for dinner. And they still talk almost every day. She loved going to the weight room in the summer with all of her friends as they pushed each other to get better. She appreciates all the hard work and encouragement from her coaches, Brad Brubaker, Amy Burcham, and Brian Blajic. She would also like to thank her 9th grade science teacher, Al Wahutka, for putting the idea in her head that she could pay for college through her athletic talents. Yasmine is currently living in Atlanta, where she's worked the past 10 years in global supply chain, a medical device company called Medtronic, of course. We're familiar with it here. She has a 4-year-old son, Jeremiah, and we say congratulations to Yasmine Malone on her induction to the St. Louis Park Hall of Fame. Andy Sackrison was a 3-sport athlete at Park, lettering in football, hockey, and golf, but it was in hockey where he really excelled. Andy was a finalist for the 2006 Mr. Hockey Award in Minnesota. He was a 3-year letter winner, and in his senior year, he scored 41 goals and 26 assists, which set a single-season school record for the most goals scored in a season. I think there's a guy that is 2 years younger than me named John Passel. He broke his record. He was selected all conferences junior and senior year and was captain for both years. Coach Tim Donahue said that Andy had the best hands and was the best puck handler of any hockey player he's coached. Even rival players admired Andy's skating ability. A former defenseman from Vanille said that Andy would start skating through the neutral zone, not looking like he built up much speed, and the next thing he knew was that Andy was behind him heading to the goal. Coach Donahue said that Andy was also a very intelligent player and a great student of the game. After high school, Andy was drafted by the St. Louis Blues in the 5th round in 2006. He went on to play 4 years at Minnesota State Mankato. He was the leading freshman scorer at Mankato and was awarded the Henry Oakleson Scholarship Award for academic excellence his senior year. After Mankato, he played professional hockey in Sweden and then in the United States. Andy felt that the best part of playing for Park was the tight-knit group of friends playing all the sports together. Playing football, hockey, and golf along with summer baseball made for a great time growing up. He remembers playing in Pee-wees with his dad as coach. One time, he wasn't paying attention when his dad was talking to the team, and his dad came over and knocked the stick out of his hands to great delight of all of his teammates. Some of his best friends today are still the ones he played hockey with all those years. Andy loved going to out-of-town tournaments and remembers going up north his senior year, beating Grand Rapids and Hibbing, a couple of powerhouses. Andy would like to thank his parents for all their support and guidance over the years. He appreciates all of his coaches from youth leagues through high school. He especially remembers an old classmate of mine, Chuck Skolnick, who passed away when Andy was on the Bantam team. And he was a passionate and great youth coach and a great lover of hockey who encouraged Andy to excel. Andy also wants to thank his wife Shannon for her patience and support for all the times hockey has taken him away from home. Over the past 7 years, Andy has coached hockey for Park, with the last 3 years as the boys' varsity head coach. Andy stepped down as coach to spend more time with his family now, though. He currently lives in Park with his wife Shannon and son Owen. He works as an equity option trader at Ameriprise Financial. And we say congratulations to Andy Sackrison on his induction into the St. Louis Park Hall of Fame. Tanna-Marie Simmons Inman. Tanna-Marie earned 4 letters in track and field and 3 in cross country. And in 1999, she won the Athena Award at Park as the best female athlete in the school. In cross country, she placed 16th in the 1998 Minnesota State Cross Country Championship. She was captain of the team in her senior year and voted all conference. In track, Tanna-Marie started as a 100 and 200 meter sprinter her freshman year. Because Park had the best sprinter in the state and Deb Cordner, Coach Brubaker encouraged her to move up to the 400 and 800 meter events. Now, if you're a sprinter, there's nothing worse than being told to go out and run an 800. But Tana rose to the challenge to become one of the best 800 meter runners in the state. She's the current record holder at Park in the 800 meter run with a time of 2 hours, 14 minutes. 2 minutes, pardon me. 2 minutes, 14, 2 hours. That sounds like I was running the event. Wait a minute. Yeah. In fact, I'd still be running. I wouldn't even be finished. 2 minutes, 14.65 seconds. There we go. And the school record holder as a member of the 4x800 meter relay. She was a valuable member of the 1997 AA True Team State Championship team and the 98 AA Minnesota State Track and Field Championship team. And in 1999, she placed second in the 800 meter run at the state championship meet. She was captain of the track team her senior year and voted the most valuable and most dedicated runner on the 1999 team. Tanna-Marie went on to run at the University of Minnesota, where she was a 4-year letter winner and finished 4th in the 2000 Big Ten meet in the 800 meter run. Coach Brubaker remembers Tanna-Marie as one of the most coachable athletes he's worked with, as she proved it by her willingness to move up to the 800 meter event. And he said she was also one of the fiercest competitors he's ever coached. She was a total team player and always put the team above herself. She was all smiles and sweetness until she stepped onto the track. At the 1997 True Team State meet, the final team score was close, coming down to the final event, the 4x400 relay. Tana had already run 2 events, and she really wasn't feeling well that day. She was lying curled up in the team tent, and Coach Brubaker approached her and told her how close the meet was, and the final result of the state championship was going to come down to this relay event. Yeah, no pressure at all. Thanks, Coach. Tana decided to run, and she ran the fastest split on the team, and Park's points in the relay were the difference in winning the state championship. Again, always team first. Tanna-Marie would like to thank all of her coaches at Park in cross country and track. They gave her the opportunity to do something she loved. Cross country isn't the easiest spectator sport, but Tanna-Marie wants to thank her parents for all of the hours at cross country courses and for sitting in the stands at the track meets. Even though cross country and track can be considered an individual sport, Tanna-Marie loved the team aspect of both sports at Park High School. The athletes were supported by their parents, teammates, and coaches. Her fondest memories were running the anchor leg of the 4x400 relay and track. And it's the last event of the meet and sometimes determined the outcome of every meet. She loved taking the baton and going up against the other team's best runners. Her teammates would line the track and cheer the whole lap around. Parents and fans would be screaming from the stands, and win or lose, she knew it was a total team effort. Tanna-Marie is currently living in Apple Valley with her husband Peter and their 3 children, Elsie, 6, George, 4, and James, almost 2. Oh, and another baby due in December. She worked at the University of Minnesota Medical Center for 10 years in the cardiology department before staying at home and raising her family. She's planning to go back to school to pursue a doctorate of, how do you say that? Naturopathic medicine. Very good. It's the first time I've ever had to say that word. For homeopath, she wants to be. So congratulations to Tanna-Marie Simmons, Inman, on her induction into the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame. All right, next up, Fletcher Terrell III. Fletcher was an outstanding 3-sport athlete, football, basketball, and track and field. He excelled in all 3 sports, but loved playing football. He earned 9 letters during his career and was named captain in all 3 sports. Even though his grandmother, Wendell Powell, hated football, and his mother, Kimberly, was extremely reluctant to let him play. But after years of begging, Fletcher was finally able to go out for football in middle school. Andy Ewald, the head football coach then, was extremely grateful that Fletcher was so persistent and that his mother finally let him play. Fletcher went on to letter 4 years in football. He was named All-Conference 3 years, Defensive MVP 4 years, Team MVP 2 years, and was named First-Team All-State Defensive Back in 2000 and 2001. Fletcher was also named to the U.S. Army All-American Football Team in 2001 and was selected to play in the Minnesota High School Football All-Star Game. All of those accomplishments almost didn't happen. During his sophomore year, Fletcher decided to skip the second week of 2-a-day practices. When he returned, Coach Ewald asked where he'd been. Fletcher gave some excuse, and the coach, Ewald, told him to go look at the depth chart in the locker room. Fletcher's name was at the bottom of the list of every player on the team. Coach Ewald said he would have to earn his way back on the team. So Fletcher worked hard in the next practices and ran every day after practice was over. Park was playing Duluth East on a Friday night. It was a 2-hour bus trip. It rained the entire time. Fletcher never got in the game. He never missed another practice in high school, college, or professionally after that experience. Fletcher said he learned that everything you want in football or life, you have to work for and earn. No one's going to give you anything. Coach Ewald said that Fletcher was one of the hardest hitters he ever coached. He played defensive back at about 160 pounds, throughout being wet, but he was hitting like a 220-pound linebacker. He also said that Fletcher was one of the most kind, thoughtful, and loving kids off the field. After high school, Fletcher played 4 years at Washburn University and was named All-Conference 3 years, All-Region 2 years, and All-American 2 years. He was also invited to the Jacksonville Jaguars training camp in 2007. And Fletcher earned 4 letters in track and field as well at St. Louis Park. As a sprinter and a long jumper, he qualified for the state meet 4 times, and his best finishes were 2nd place in the 4x200 meter relay and 6th place in the 100 meter dash during his senior year. In basketball, Fletcher earned 2 letters and was named All-Conference in 2002. Fletcher would also like to thank his mother, Kimberly, for finally letting him play football. He's grateful for all the experiences, opportunities, and friendships that he found playing the game of football. Fletcher wanted to say, "I love you, Mom. Thank you." Very nice. He also wants to thank his grandmother. Even though she despised football, she made sure that he got to summer workouts and practices, and she pushed him academically. She always said there was more to life than sports. He also wants to thank his 2 sisters, Lori and Shanika, for letting him practice his tackling on them even when it wasn't expected. I guess that's where he learned to be such a hard hitter. He also wants to thank Coach Andy Ewald for believing in him even before he believed in himself. Coach Ewald pushed him to play the game at the highest level, and for that, he's forever grateful. As it turns out, Fletcher might not even be the best athlete in his family. His wife, Abby, was a state champion in the 100 and 200 meter dash for Burton High School in Kansas and played volleyball at Hutchinson Community College and Missouri Western University. They're currently living in Topeka, Kansas with their children. Fletcher the 4th is 10 and Olivia is 8. Coach Ewald says they're welcome to move back to St. Louis Park anytime so their kids can play for Park. Fletcher works in manufacturing for Reese's Fine Foods and also works for a nonprofit Omni Circle group, Young Minds Determined to be Great. We say congratulations to Fletcher Terrell for being inducted into the St. Louis Park Hall of Fame. Great story. Oh, we had the wrong picture up there. So our apologies for that. Oh, well. Oh, okay. All right, Jonathan Thompson is our next inductee, but as Bruce just said, his mother had to leave. So, unfortunately, Jonathan unable to attend today's banquet. He had previous commitments. Jonathan was another exceptional 3-sport athlete for St. Louis Park. He earned 10 letters in football, basketball, and track and field during his career at Park. St. Louis Park has had a lot of great track and field athletes over the years. Jonathan, really one of the best. He was the Minnesota State High School jump champion at the 2003 Minnesota State track and field meet, clearing the bar at 6 feet 8 inches. Wow. He was a 4-year letter winner and participated in the state meet all 4 years. His other best finishes at state were 2nd place in the 4x200 meter relay in 2002, 6th place in the 100 meter dash, and 7th place in the 200 meter dash at the 2004 state meet. Coach Jeff Gullard said the only time he ever saw Jonathan get mad was during the 4x200 relay at the state meet. Based on section times, Park was favored to win the event. After a bad exchange between the 1st and 2nd runners, Jonathan, running 3rd, took the baton in last place. He was able to pass 5 runners in his leg and move the team into 3rd place. Fletcher took the baton from there, and the team was able to finish 2nd. Jonathan was a 9-time conference champion and section champion. He was all-conference in 2003 and 2004 and was elected team captain. Jonathan is the current school record holder in the 200-meter dash, the high jump, and the indoor 60-meter dash. Jonathan earned 3 letters in basketball and was elected team captain. for the 2003-2004 season. Jonathan was also a 3-year letter winner in football. Coach Andy Ewald said that Jonathan was one of the most dynamic, pure athletes he's ever coached at Park. While being blessed as an athlete, Coach Ewald said what he remembers most is Jonathan's kindness and his smile. After high school, Jonathan competed in basketball for 2 years at Minnesota State Community and Technical College in Fergus Falls. He was the captain of the team during his sophomore season. Jonathan would like to thank his family for all their support through the years, especially his grandparents. And he'd also like to thank his coaches and trainers for all of their help and guidance. Jonathan enjoyed all of his teammates, and he wanted to thank the Kraft and Hager families for all their help and support. Jonathan currently lives in North Dakota with his 3 boys, Sean, 14, Dominic, 13, and Kobe, 8, along with their 3 dogs. Jonathan is the regional director for Mars Restaurant and Fitness. And we say congratulations to Jonathan Thompson for his induction into the Hall of Fame. And that concludes the induction of our individual athletes and coaches. So now we just want to meet our 2 teams of distinction. We're going to begin with the 1955 Boys Cross Country State Champions. Very strong and very young team was greeted by famous coach Roy Griak at the start of that 1955 cross country season. No one knew what to expect with so many sophomores and even freshmen slated to play big roles on the team. Yet the team worked hard and came together at the right time. The team won every meet but one during the year and came back to avenge that one loss to Southwest with a victory later in the season. Victories were posted at the prestigious Swain Invitational, where the 12 top teams in the state were invited, the Region 5 meet, and of course the state championship meet. The state meet was held at Lake Nokomis at a distance of 1.8 miles with strong winds and a heavy course. And at the state meet, the team had 2 runners placed in the top 10. Dave Quaid finished 4th, while Rod Lazorek took 9th place. These 2 were followed by Art Patterson, 19th place, Bob O's 20th place, and Charlie Berg, 35th place. These performances led to a convincing win for St. Louis Park. In cross country, as in golf, where low scores win, the team score was 87, followed by Grand Rapids with 144. What was remarkable was the fact that of the 6 St. Louis Park runners in the state meet, 3 were sophomores, 1 was a freshman. This state championship was the first ever state championship by St. Louis Park in any sport. It also represented the beginning of what some call the glory years for St. Louis Park cross country and track and field teams on the boys' side. Yes, a good cross country team can help make a great track and field team in the spring. So many of the runners on the 55 cross country team in 1958 helped lead the track and field team to the state championship. In 1961, St. Louis Park won another state cross country championship. And from there, St. Louis Park won track and field championships in 1962, 63, 65, and 66. Thus, in a little over a decade, St. Louis Park cross country and track and field teams won a combined 7 state championships. That's a pretty good run. Now let's meet some of the athletes or their representatives who ran in the state cross country meet. Rod Lazorek, as mentioned earlier, Rod placed 9th in the 1955 meet. A year later, he bettered that mark and took 3rd place in the 1956 cross country meet. After high school, Rod attended the University of Minnesota, where he ran cross country and track. He was an all Big Ten as a sophomore cross country, as well as team captain. Rod presently resides in Sugar Grove, North Carolina, and he is a member of the St. Louis Park High School Athletic Hall of Fame. 2 runners from the 1955 team were not able to travel to be with us today due to health reasons. They are Art Patterson and Dave Quaid. Art Patterson, Art is another runner who helped St. Louis Park win the 58 state track and field championship. At the state meet, he won the half-mile run. He was a captain and team MVP of the track and field teams in 1957 and 1958. Art attended the University of Minnesota, where in 1959 he took third place in the 880 in the Big Ten indoor meet. Art also stayed active in cross country and track by being a volunteer coach at Crosby Ironton High School. Art is a member of the individual St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame. Dave Quaid. Dave's fourth place finish at the 1955 state cross country meet was the best performance by any St. Louis Park runner. He now lives in New Mexico and is married with one daughter. Dave had a lengthy career in real estate development and continues a hobby of breeding purebred Arabian horses. 1955 was a long time ago, 66 years, and in that time, 4 men who ran for St. Louis Park in the 55 state meet have passed away. They're Jim Kumpela, Denny Carlson, Charlie Berg, and Bob Oss. With us today representing Jim Kumpela is his son with the same name, Jim Kumpela. In the 1955 meet, Jim was only a freshman. He too was also a track man. Jim was state champion in the 220-yard dash in 1958 and placed second in the same event in the 1959 state meet. After graduation from high school, Jim attended the University of Minnesota, where he ran cross country and track. Upon graduation from Minnesota, Jim worked closely with Roy Griak, then the head cross country and track and field coach at the University of Minnesota. He was also a physical education and gym teacher, and Jim is an individual member of the St. Louis Park High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Representing Coach Roy Griak is one of his sons, an old teammate of mine in baseball and a neighborhood buddy, Jason Griak. Coach Griak passed away in July 2015 at the age of 91. He was a head cross-country and track and field coach at St. Louis Park for 11 years, and in 1963 assumed the same positions at the University of Minnesota. He coached the Gophers for 33 years and then worked as an administrative assistant until the time of his death. The program at his funeral stated, "More important than the championships and the accolades is the impact that Roy had on everyone in his life. Roy had the amazing ability to make everyone feel important. His smile was contagious and genuine. The ripple effect of his influence will be felt for many generations. Roy's spirit lives on in hearts of all of those who knew him." Roy, too, is an individual member of the St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame. And now I'm going to turn the microphone over to Rod Lazoric, who's going to make a few comments about the 1955 cross-country team.
All right. Okay. I can't see very well. In order to start this, you got to talk about Griak. We all know this accomplishment as a coach. We all, and members of that team, all knew him with a J in his name. He was the most kind, inspirational fascist that I've ever known. I loved him dearly. I believe he started the same year, a number of us on this team started teaching at Park the same year we started. There's no real sports cliches here. Nothing. I forgot. It's worse than it was. All right. Many cross-country. How many cross-country people are there? Good. A little crazy. Certainly we gave recognition to somebody who's running 100 and whatever, 50 About Dave Quaid. All right, good. I have a story. Dave couldn't be here. He's not ambulatory like me. He went to Mexico one time, and as is mentioned, his interest in horses. Well, he rented a horse, went off in the hills, somewhere in Mexico, I don't know where, and tied his horse up and was walking around, and he came back and the horse is gone. Took that and head back to the stable. Well, Dave was where the heck out. And by the time he got back to his motel, he went out and just went to bed. Middle of the night, bum, 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 bum. The sheriff was there, going to arrest him for horse. As a horse. Obviously, the horse went back to its home. He came back to St. Louis Park. Me. I have been known as Roddy. I've been noted as somebody with 1D. I've been noted as Rudy, and now I'm called Wayne, who is called Rod Lazoric. I answered all those things, and Google has them all mixed up. And anyway, as you can see, I dress like a cowboy. I can no longer get up on top of a horse. And my boots have Velcro. So, anyway, that's fine. Art Patterson, whoa. He's been busy since his early retirement. Art has been keeping the zebra mussels out of Ruth Lake. Chief inspector of that, and helping his brother Jim find illustrations for Jim's definitive work on the butterflies. Let's see. Oh, too big of a print here. Bob Oss, I talked to his wife before this, and she said that make sure that everybody understood that running for Park was one of his highlights of his life, and he enjoyed the company of Art and I and McKeen and everybody. Charlie Baird, oh goodness, Charlie Baird. He ran on the 55 team, and then his parents moved to Duluth Central, and he ran on the state championship 57 in Duluth Central. Charlie, amongst his other, I won't say that one. Amongst his other things, he went down to Mexico, as many cross-country people do for some reason, and he was taking bullfighting lessons. he got bored and went to the hospital and then later died of his wounds. And when I heard of this, I said, well, that's Charlie, you know. All right, now, React built a team. He and about 5 other coaches in the state. At one point, I was editor of something called the Minnesota Track and Field Observer. It lasted until Don Brown took it over. Anyway, here's a picture of the first team, I think. And there I am, little eighth grader running in the state meet. And then by 2 years or 3 years later, there's the team. A little bigger. And so he had an interesting way of enlarging the cross-country team. One is by taking all the track guys who were not in football or wait a minute. Oh yeah, Dennis Carlson. I don't know what happened. He's deceased. But I saw him the last time I was here. And I want to mention, because they're here, I mean, Tom Rutledge was on the team, and Tim Kiernan was on it. However, it's a big team. So they didn't run in the state meet. But they're here. I'd like to recognize them and say they also appreciated React. Anyway, one more thing about React. He had a way of in my life, I can say that he was a change of vector in my life, allowing me to go to college for $35 a quarter. Paid it. Cheap dates in those years. Anyway, I got to go to school and got involved in another sort of wave that was going on in my area of fine arts at the time. So I owe it all, part of it, to that vector that got me free tuition. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rod. And I think another first-time accomplishment for me as a speaker of a banquet, zebra mussels getting a round of applause. Another team of distinction here now. St. Louis Park has a strong tradition of dominant teams. And this is the 1994 Synchronized Swimming Champions. I don't know if we're all going to fit on the stage. The boys cross-country track teams of the 50s and 60s had several state records. The boys basketball team won state in '62, and the teams of the 70s and 80s made 3 straight appearances at the state tournament. But the girls basketball team won 2 state championships in the 80s and 90s. But none of those teams can match the success and longevity of the girls' synchronized swimming teams. Long before the passage of Title IX in 1972 that gave girls equal opportunities in sports, St. Louis Park had a strong tradition of girls competing in synchronized swimming competition with the Surf Bells. The Surf Bells started in 1956 under Coach Sally Callahan. The first state meet for synchronized swimming was in 1958 with no team competition. And since 1958, St. Louis Park has won 25 state championships. Pretty good. Also, since 1956, Park has been coached by 3 women, Sally Callahan, Karen Gleason, and Linda Gust. That is 65 years with only 3 head coaches. The 1994 state champion synchronized swimming team we're inducting today is one of the strongest teams Park has ever assembled. They won the state meet by scoring 146 points to second place Stillwater's 140 points. And right now we want to meet the women who competed in the state meet 27 years ago. And we will tell you the events and places they finished at the state meet and give you a current update on their lives. The senior captain, Karen Jenkins McEachran. Karen, wave, yep. She took first place in senior figures, first place senior solo, first place senior trio, first place senior team. Karen's currently living in St. Louis Park. She's a strategic consultant, patient experience at Health Partners. She's married to Dennis McEachran, and their children are Jack, who's 16, Ted, 13, and Maeve is 11. Senior captain Carrie Hirschberger Schweitering. Carrie, right back there. First place in the senior duet, first place in senior trio, first place in senior team, 6th place in senior figures. Carrie's currently living in St. Louis Park. She's the principal at my old elementary school, Peter Hobart. She's married to Jake Schweitering. And they have 2 boys, Will, who's 19, and Nate, 15. Senior captain Jill Hirschberger Rossi, first place senior duet, first place senior trio, first place senior team, 4th place senior figures. Jill's currently living in Sacramento, California as a pediatric intensive care nurse and has 2 children, Tobin, who's 8, and Escher, who's 9, and Escher, who's 8. Sue Fundersling Verreka. She's currently living in Edina, and her accomplishments were 2nd place senior duet, 2nd place senior team, 10th place senior figures. Now she's a special education teacher supervisor with MSU and St. Thomas. She's married to TJ Verreka, and they have twins, Taylor and Charlie, who are age 12. Greer Peterson Swing, 2nd place senior duet, 2nd place senior trio, 3rd place senior figures. Greer recently moved to Florida. She's the office manager for Upland Real Estate Group. Her husband, John Swing, and they have 3 children, Anja, 13, Elisa, 10, and Liam, 10. Sally Stauffer Berry, 4th place senior duet, 4th place senior trio, 1st place senior team, 11th place senior figures. Sally lives in St. Louis Park, and she's the director of client relations for the web group. She has 2 children, Sam, who's 18, and Finn, who's 13. Kate, is it Sath or Sath? Sathi. Kate Sathi Gable, 2nd place senior team, 5th place junior duet. Kate teaches in Isanti, Minnesota, and coaches boys and girls swimming at Cambridge Isanti High School. She's married to Chris Gable, and they have 2 boys, Evan, 15, and Drake, 13. Tara Sellner, 7th place junior team. Tara lives in St. Louis Park and is working at Peter Hobart Elementary. She has 1 son, Connor, who is 13, and he attends St. Louis Park Middle School. Lindsay Glister Asp. Oh, Gilster. It's a typo then. I'm blaming it on the script writer. 2nd place senior team, 5th place junior duet, 8th place junior figures. Lindsay currently lives in St. Louis Park. Boy, a lot of you stayed in St. Louis Park, didn't you? And she, works in educational sales. She's married to Steve Asp, and they have 2 children, Liam, age 9, and Lily, age 7. Stacy Kelly Natzel, 4th place junior trio, 3rd place junior team. Stacy currently lives in St. Louis Park. Where else? With her husband, former Park grad and basketball star Josh Natzel. She's a former teacher and is now staying at home with her kids. Jacob 13, Lucy 11, Mary 9, and Sylvia 6. They attend Park Spanish Immersion Elementary School and the middle school. Ginger Pratt Allen, third place junior team. Ginger currently lives in Golden Valley. Boy, she strayed way far away from St. Louis Park. She works as a U.S. sales lead consumer channel at Microsoft. She's married to Darren Allen, and they have a 13-year-old fur baby dog named Gracie. Angie Gonzalez Iop, seventh place junior team, junior division. Angie currently lives in St. Louis Park, and she's a stay-at-home mom. She's married to Chris Iop, and they have one child, Tyler, 14. Karen Dabrowski, fourth place junior trio, third place junior team, 23rd place junior figures. Karen lives in Golden Valley with her husband, Jeff Peterson, and she's a commercial mortgage banker. Kate Durkin Schaefer, there's a Schaefer. Kate Durkin Schaefer, fourth place junior trio, third place junior team, 22nd place junior figures. Katie is the director of copy and brand voice. She lives in St. Louis Park with her husband TJ and their children Scout and Phoebe. Scout's 7, Phoebe is 3. Alexandra No Henry, second place novice team, third place novice trio, fifth place novice duet, 18th place novice figures. Alexandra currently lives in Maple Grove and works at Allianz. She's married to Drew Henry, and they have one son, Austin, who's age 10. Marie Ellingson Bedeau, 15th place, semifinals novice team. Marie's currently living in Bloomington. She's a customer value agreement support specialist for the Ziegler Cat Group. She's married to Eric Bedeau, and they have two daughters, Hannah, 14, and Allison, 10. Amy Peterson Draxton, first place novice trio, second place novice duet, second place novice team, fifth place novice figures. Amy currently lives in Isanti. She's a development officer for Alina Health Philanthropy. She's married to Eric Draxton, and they have two children, Darren, 11, and Cora, 9. Jessica Gust, first place novice trio, second place novice duet, second place novice team, ninth place novice figures. Jessica teaches science at St. Louis Park High School. She's also the strength and conditioning coach and assistant coach for the Synchronized swim team to this day. She's currently living in St. Louis Park with her fiance, Aaron McEachran, who we mentioned earlier. Sarah Byer Carlisle, 8th place novice team semifinals. Sarah lives in Moorhead, and she's the owner of Travel Escape Room for Minnesota and North Dakota. She's also a freelance junior full-stack engineer and a freelance animator. She's married to Brandon Carlisle, and they have 4 children. Merrick, 23, Madeline, 17, Kira, 14, and Gavin, 6. Tammy McDonald Sloth, 6th place novice team, 4th place novice team. Tammy currently lives in Alaska. She teaches 4th grade at a local elementary school there. And she's married to Nick, and they have 9 children ranging in ages from 20 to 3 years old. They're Brendan, Sarah, Sutton, Nora, Jeff, Brant, Blake, Violet, and Petra. Yeah. Karna Bergstrom Frondin, second place novice team. Karna is a public relations manager for Centricare, a healthcare system in central Minnesota. She lives in Sartell with her husband Joe Frondin and their children Liliana, 8, and Evelyn, 6. Amber Knight, 15th place novice team semifinals. Amber is the superintendent of education and training for the Air Force, and she lives in Maple Grove with her daughter Maddie, who is 9. And before we introduce the coaches, I ask if there's anyone on stage that we happen to miss to introduce themselves. Anybody? Did we get all of you? All right. Okay. Shelley Nielsen, the assistant coach. Shelley graduated from St. Louis Park in 1979. She's waving back there. And she, yeah, come on up. She competed in swimming, synchronized swimming, and was a cheerleader in high school. She's worked in the St. Louis Park School District since 1989 as a teacher, coach, dean of students, assistant principal, and principal at the junior high, Peter Hobart, and Aquila. She recently retired as the principal of Aquila Elementary School. and she currently lives in Brooklyn Center. Linda Gust, assistant coach, and we already heard about her many accomplishments when she was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Karen Hirschberger Gleason, the head coach. Karen graduated from Park in 1963 and swam in the surf bells for Sally Callahan. And Karen now wants to just make a few comments about the team and the season.
Oh, I am so proud and so excited of every single one of you. And some of the other of you that weren't on this particular team. Oh, this particular team that's getting inducted. I am so proud of them. They were just extraordinary team. Okay, I want to begin by congratulating all of them, which I just did, right? And I think I got to most of you individually. We all know a championship team is not won by individuals, but rather by a team. And this team was special, very special. Many of the swimmers had started swimming together before they were even 10. I was coaching many of them along with Shelley as aquafins. They were called. I feel like I need to be talking to them, but okay, sorry. Okay, they started to get swimming together even at the age of 10. And this group of girls, now women, were driven to push themselves and each other throughout the season. I am so proud and happy of all of them. Synchronized swimming is one of these unique sports where athletes are competing as individuals and on teams. It is not enough for a school to have a few outstanding athletes to win a state championship. In order to win the state meet, your team has to be able to perform at the top in both individual events and as a team. Categories with different multiple levels. This 1994 team was exceptional in every one of those candidates, as you heard through your speech or your introduction of them. Many of them spent a lot of long hours practicing. Thank you. That one's my daughter. Okay. Many of them spent many long hours of practices before school, after school, weekends, and even in some of you that are teachers out there, probably during class, you would see them going, rehearsing their routines, and, you know, they didn't always practice in a pool. We didn't get a lot of pool time, so, you know, we had to limit that. Okay, so the long hours of practice before school, after school, and even on weekends not only perfected them, each of them as athletes, but also instilled life lessons, dedication, courage, and leadership, and teamwork. I am confident that those life skills, after listening to where you all are doing now, all of those lessons stayed with you after the season was over. It was such a privilege to coach you and be part of this exceptional team. I'd like to thank the swimmers, number one, for being such an exceptional team. And I'd also like to thank my assistant coaches, a couple of them here today, Shelley and Linda are here today. We were also coached by Jody Schaefer Miller, who many of you know is a teacher in the district, and she's retired now too. And Jenny Bayer, a former swimmer. I was also a former, oh, he said that, under Sally Callahan. You should be up here too, Sally, because you even though you didn't coach with me, I mean, you were an assistant and coach to this team because you were the big push behind everything that I did and a great leader. And I want to thank you also. Many of these girls also not only were state champions for 1 year, were state champions for several years, not just the 94. And also, many of them, well, if they were state champions, they were also sectional and conference champions. And we even have one that was an Athena for their year. Yeah, Karen Jennings, award winner. So thank you to all of you, and it was my privilege to be able to coach you. Thanks so much.
Well, that does it for this 2021 St. Louis Park Athletic Hall of Fame banquet. I want to thank the committee for inviting me back to help MC this thing, and thank Bruce and others for helping put together the backstories here that I've been reading to many of you. And at the same time, it's great to see some of my former teachers here and who have become friends as well over the years, even if we only get together briefly. And of course, great to bump heads with some of my contemporaries here in St. Louis Park. And like all of you, I wouldn't be where I am today without St. Louis Park High School. My wife says, "What is in the water over there at St. Louis Park? You have so many successful people." I said, "Hey, I was just lucky to tag along, you know." So let's not forget, we're loyal to U Park High. Everybody have a great afternoon.